these are some of the principles that we like to help leaders grasp. The unifying purpose we've already talked about, right? So that is, again, one of the hardest things that a leader can do is to get teams to stop doing stuff, okay? 50 or 60 projects on one go, regardless of the level of teams that you have, more than anything creates a scattered approach, right? Great managers who are trying to get their stuff done will tend to find themselves infighting. If you've got 50 or 60 projects ongoing with limited resources, what's going to happen? Your management team, who are trying to protect their teams, who are trying to achieve goals, will start to fight for scarce resources. And now suddenly, instead of having an organization focused and moving in one direction, what you have is you have a scattered organization internally fighting to get the right resources to get the job done. Okay. So that unifying purpose is probably one of the most important things that a leader should be doing, right? Exactly focused on what we're doing, and more importantly, focused on what we're not doing. The accountable exec basically means that your team's performance is on you. Okay. Now, a lot of the times executives don't like taking ownership of their team's performance. All right. But that does not help. What that means is that ultimately, if you don't see yourself as accountable and you don't own your team's outcomes, what will happen is you won't be changing, or you won't be doing what you need to do to get the organizational change happen, or unlocking challenges to help teams go quicker and faster. All right. We've all met those Teflon shouldered leaders. You tell them a problem, they come back with, I don't want to hear problems, I just want to hear solutions. Well, look, the solution is that I need you, Mr. Leadership guy, to do something to help the teams. As an example of this is that Frank, who, one of the best leaders I've ever worked for on Turbo Asset Management, wonderful chap. One of the things that we did with him was we had to align his teams to deliver a tough strategic project. And they're based out in Zurich, right, with offices all over the country. So one of the things that we needed them to do was to bring everyone together. Now, the teams themselves were disparate. They were all over the place. They had one guy in one office, one guy in another office, one guy in another office. All the teams were like that. What we found was that because the project was so important, was so under so much pressure, we found that one of the best ways to kind of get things going was to co-locate everybody. What Frank did was he saw that as his only responsibility. He got his leadership team together and he managed to move 100 people into one building, which also meant moving 100 people out of that building without disrupting business functions. Now, no manager could have done that. No team member could have done that. We absolutely needed senior leadership to absolutely lead the charge in that space and make that happen. And that was a monumental task, right? He did that within 4 weeks, 2 sprints. He gave the commitment to make that happen, and he did it. He saw delivery as being his responsibility, and he owned it all the way through. All right. Any challenges that the teams were coming up with, if they weren't able to fix or solve them, and the management teams weren't able to fix or solve them, he and his team, his leadership team, would step up and do whatever they could to make it happen. And finally, this thing with intent-based leadership. So this is more about helping the teams understand where we're trying to go, not micromanaging, not scaring the pants out of people. All right. Intent-based leadership is a concept from, say, mission command, decentralized leadership. All of these sorts of things come together to help teams do what they need to do and to be honest about how they're moving forward. Right. So showing leaders not just the mindset around this, but how to do it, the skill set required is absolutely important. So for your leadership teams, thinking about unifying purpose, what are we doing? Are we delivering 100 projects? Can we actually deliver 100 projects? Tangibly, maybe we can only deliver 20. What are the 20 that we should be delivering this year? What is the difference that makes a difference? Okay, those are the kind of things that we should be asking our leaders. Are they accountable? Do they see that ownership as part of their job? They should, right? They should see ownership as part of their job. And finally, are they thinking about intentions over micromanagement and fear-based leadership? Those are the kind of things that we ask leaders to do, right?